In the heart of a decrepit, forgotten town from the 1800s, nestled within a dense forest shrouded in perpetual fog, there was a vintage, dilapidated mansion known to locals as the Caelum House. Its decaying exterior, with ivy creeping up the walls like skeletal fingers, told tales of a past long buried, and whispers of the supernatural clung to it like a curse. The mansion's legend spoke of a terrifying and epic supernatural entity that had taken residence there, a being so horrifying that its true form remained a mystery, haunting anyone who dared to come near. The townsfolk spoke of it in hushed tones, describing it as a specter with a sad and remorseful visage, its eyes filled with unimaginable agony. Few dared to venture near the mansion, and even fewer claimed to have glimpsed the entity within. The stories varied, but one constant remained: the mansion was home to something beyond comprehension. One chilly autumn evening, a highly artistic and creative soul named Victor, driven by an insatiable curiosity and an obsession with the supernatural, arrived in town. Victor had heard tales of the Caelum House and the haunting freak that dwelled within. He was a writer and a dreamlike compasser of macabre tales, and he yearned to witness this horror for himself, to create a masterpiece that would be both ultra-creative and extremely creepy. As he approached the mansion, the atmosphere grew dense, the fog weaving an eerie and solid texture around him. The darkness seemed to wrap itself around Victor, threatening to pull him into its depths. His heart pounded in his chest, a drumbeat of both excitement and fear. Victor pushed open the creaking door, revealing a foyer frozen in time. Antique furniture covered in dusty white sheets stood like silent sentinels, guarding secrets from the past. Victor's footsteps echoed through the empty corridors as he ventured further into the mansion's depths. As he explored the mansion, Victor began to feel the weight of its history pressing down on him. Paintings from the 1800s adorned the walls, depicting long-forgotten family members in vintage attire. Each portrait seemed to stare at him with eyes that held stories of their own, stories of sadness, remorse, and unspoken agony. It was in the mansion's dimly lit library that Victor's nightmare began to take shape. A book lay open on a table, its pages filled with strange but iconic illustrations of otherworldly creatures. Victor recognized some of them from his research, creatures of myth and legend, but one drawing caught his eye. It was a rendering of a figure, tall and shadowy, with eyes that seemed to pierce through time and space. As he stared at the image, a voice whispered in his mind, "I am the unknown, the unimaginable horror that you seek." Victor's heart raced as he turned to see the entity standing before him. It was a figure shrouded in darkness, its features ever shifting like a nightmare. It spoke again, its voice echoing with a haunting, ethereal quality. "You have come seeking me, Victor, and now you shall be haunted by the unknown." The entity reached out a shadowy hand, and Victor could feel his sanity slipping away, replaced by a profound sense of terror and despair. He had sought the unimaginable, and now it had found him. In the days that followed, Victor became a shell of his former self. He wandered the mansion's corridors, his mind trapped in a perpetual state of horror. The entity tormented him with visions of nightmarish landscapes and bizarre, otherworldly creatures. It whispered tales of sorrow and remorse, stories of lives lost and dreams shattered. Victor's once creative and artistic soul was now consumed by agony and despair. He had found the horror he had sought, but it had come at a price too steep to bear. He had become a prisoner of the unknown, a living nightmare himself. As the years passed, the Caelum House stood as a strange and iconic monument to Victor's folly. Those who ventured near could still hear his agonized cries echoing through its halls, a reminder of the unimaginable horror that lurked within.